guys, welcome back to my channel, and I'm in the kitchen today because I got a hankering for something sweet. So I found my old recipe for drop sugar cookies, and you can see this is about 40 years old. It's got all the stains on it and everything from all the years that I've used it. And so what I'm going to do, since it's just me and I don't have the children here or grandkids here, I'm going to cut the recipe in half. I just want a few cookies just to satisfy my sweet tooth. So let's get busy. Okay, so if I can remember now that I'm cutting it in half, okay, so I'm going to use, instead of 2 cups of flour, plain flour, I'm just going to use 1. And it calls for a cup of sugar, so I have a 1/2 cup of sugar. Let me tilt you down here so you can see. So I'm going to go with a 1/2 cup of sugar. An egg. You can't cut an egg in half, so gonna go with the whole egg. What we want to do is cream these together first, the sugar and the egg. Okay, it says have ingredients at room temperature. Sift the flour with the soda and salt. I don't have a sifter because when I was minimalizing, I threw it away. But we'll do without it. Cream the butter and butter with the sugar and vanilla. Okay, so let's cream the butter. And I have it nice and soft here. Now it does call for shortening, a 1/2 cup of shortening, but since I'm cutting the recipe in half, I'm going to see if I can make it without the shortening. So I'm going to cut you off here while I run this mixer so you don't have to hear it. I have my egg and my stick of butter and a 1/2 cup of sugar creamed. And to that you want to add the dry ingredients. So I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon baking soda to my flour. Just kind of stir it in there. And then just a little pinch of salt, just a dab of salt. We'll add that in. And then we want to add this to the creamy mixture. Okay, and then it calls for a teaspoon of vanilla, and so we're going to use a 1/2 teaspoon vanilla. There we go. And a tablespoon of milk. And then we're just going to blend all this together. And we will have our batter for the sugar cookies. Just a tad bit more. Okay, let me blend this up. So here it is. I went ahead and just put a spoonful of, it seemed a little dry, so I put a spoonful of Crisco in it. And I like the texture of it now, and it tastes good. So it says to drop it by the spoonful into a pan. Drop by teaspoonfuls onto ungreased cookie sheet. Bake at 400 degrees for 12 minutes. So let me turn my oven up to 400. I don't have a cookie sheet, so I'm going to use the baking pan that my friend Tracy sent me from Dallas. I went ahead and sprayed it because I'd rather spray it than take a chance on the cookie sticking. Y'all remember my friend Tracy, he sent me my saucepan, and he's the one that sent me the men's cologne and the women's perfume that I gave away. I believe that was for my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Well, Tracy has started himself a YouTube channel, y'all. It's a comedy channel. And he's went and fixed himself up like an old woman. And her name is Claudine, Claudene. And his channel name is Miss Claudine. So I will list it in the description below, and y'all gotta go over there and check her out. She's so funny. She's crass. So just be ready for some crass humor that's very funny. So I'm gonna put these in the oven and let them bake for 12 minutes. And I have a little story to tell y'all. one day when I was shopping at Walmart, we were living in Covington, and I was in there shopping, and I had gone to the store by myself that day, which was unusual because, you know, John was an alcoholic, so I didn't always leave the children with him if he was drinking. But he didn't start drinking beer on the weekends until noon. He would get up early in the morning and do the yard work, and he would clean the house. You know, he was good about that. He would clean the bathrooms and drink a whole pot of coffee. I guess that caffeine gave him a lot of energy. So, you know, he would vacuum that old green shag carpet and clean my I had a big kitchen. So I had gone grocery shopping that morning. He was watching the kids. So I was, you know, pushing the buggy and shopping and everything. And all of a sudden, I heard this woman screaming, "Oh my God, help, help, help." So I ran around to the other aisle to see what was happening. And her baby, which was probably about a year old, he had gotten his foot stuck in between the metal bracket on the buggy. And she was terrified, y'all. She was just hysterical. So I just ran over to the health and beauty aids and grabbed a jar of Vaseline and went over there and opened up the Vaseline and greased up the baby's foot real good and just slipped it right through the metal brackets. I mean, that was the first thing that came to my mind. I reckon Vaseline was better for the baby's skin than a can of WD-40. So what would y'all have done in a situation like that? So I'll be back in a minute. We're going to take these sugar cookies out of the oven. My first batch of sugar cookies are ready. Now I think I'm going to sprinkle a little sugar on the top of them. I probably should have done this when I put them in the oven. I don't know. The next batch I might try to do that. But when I put the cookies in the oven, I also put me a glass of milk in the freezer. So I have an ice cold glass of milk. And y'all, I believe I can eat every one of these. So I'm going to put them on my plate here. Now I'll leave the recipe below, and it'll be for the full recipe. I'm not going to cut it in half. I just cut it in half for myself. But I'm sure all of y'all with, you know, kids and husband or you men that have your wives you want to make some cookies for, you can make the full batch. Oh, they're so soft, y'all. Oh, look at these cookies. These are delicious, y'all. Y'all just keep on coming back. Bye, guys.